Hello, hello, everyone. It feels like it's been a really long time because we released so many of our interviews in the last several episodes. We are on episode 171 today, and it is the final episode release for Max Potential Habits in 2020, and also the last episode of Max Potential Habits overall, because in 2021, we're going to transition to being called Max Potential Money. And what we've decided to do is bring tips and insights and tools to you from the seven-figure scale journey. So you all know that in 2019, it was my first year of full-time business. I broke the six-figure mark. This last year in 2020, we had more growth and we're on our way to seven figures. And I work with entrepreneurs who are interested in being high drive, heart-centered, service-oriented, and want to build businesses that are thriving in the money realm. What that means is that you've got to unblock anything that's misaligned and eliminate your competing commitments. You can go back and listen to lots of episodes where I talk about competing commitments so that you can scale to whatever level it is you want to scale to. So whether you're scaling your business to be making 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year, 250, 500, a million or more, this is the podcast for you to learn tips and tools and hear insights about how to do that. So what I'm going to do is be documenting every week insights and lessons I'm learning along that journey so that you can grow along with me and cheer me on. I can cheer you on. We can support each other. I want this podcast to continue to be super interactive. You'll have weekly action steps, all kinds of fun stuff. So we're taking a few weeks of a break as we transition from NFA coaching to NFA money as a company. And then also as we transition the podcast and create an entirely new program where it's called Manifesting Profits. So I will be helping entrepreneurs who want to double their income or more by unblocking anything that's stopping them and learning strategies to get there as fast as possible. So that's what's coming in 2021. Today, what I want to bring to you is my top 5 lessons of 2020. I love to share what it's taken for me on my journey to grow my business, to grow myself, to overcome all the stuff that holds you back from getting where you want to go. I think part of the reason I attract the people I do into the NFA world is because I'm very transparent about if you're listening, I am doing quotes, mistakes. I don't believe there's any such thing as mistakes because I think we always learn from them and grow from them. But I like to share with you what I've learned that could be perceived of as a mistake because it will help you get there faster. So I always like to think about us having a shortcut in our timeline because you're able to listen to people who have been there and done that. And if we're transparent about it along the way, and I share with you my journey and the things that have been hard for me, the challenges that I've faced, the things I've overcome, it just helps you get there faster. If anything, it also just helps you know that you're not alone. It helps you know that on the entrepreneurial journey, there's ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster ride sometimes, a really fun roller coaster ride. So I want to bring all of that to you. And today I want to talk to you about the top 5 lessons I learned in 2020. So if it is your first time here, I'm Dr. Amanda Barrientez. I'm the founder of NFA Coaching, soon to be NFA Money. I'm the host of this podcast, and I am the person who's inspired to bring tips and tools to you every week to help you optimize yourself so you can thrive in your life and business. And what that looks like is freedom through making money doing exactly what you love while you're living in your zone of genius super powerfully. So with all that said, thank you for being here. If you've gotten a lot out of this podcast, I would so appreciate it if you would leave a written review and share with us what you're getting out of it. Blast it out to your social media channels, and I'll be doing some big giveaways in 2021 to help us grow the podcast faster. So be listening for that. But if you haven't done it yet and you feel so inspired, leave a review. It would help us out. Okay, let's get started. So number 1, success is a result of your alignment. Okay, let's dig deep into what this means. Success is a result of your alignment. So you've heard me talk a lot about neurofreedom alignment. NFA also stands for neurofreedom alignment. And what that really means is that you're aligned in your mind, you're aligned in your energy, you're aligned in your belief system, you're aligned in your actions, then you get the results that you want. And your feelings are going to be a feedback system for this. So whenever you're feeling out of alignment, you will know because you will feel off. You'll feel dread. You'll feel stress. You'll feel burnout. You'll feel like, ugh, I don't want to get up in the morning and do this stuff anymore. I'm feeling burnt out, stressed out, frustrated, stuck, out of alignment. And it isn't that you would always get up in the morning and say like, oh, wow, I feel really out of alignment. Instead, you'd wake up and say, ugh, I don't like what I'm doing in my life. I don't feel happy. I feel like life's going by fast and I'm not fulfilled. That's how you know you're in or out of alignment. If you wake up in the morning and you're like, yeah, I can't wait to get up. I feel super thrilled about my day. I feel like I can't wait to do my next project. I know and trust that things are going to flow to me with ease and joy and fun. And I have faith. I'm not in fear. Then you know you're in alignment. And so your success all comes from this place of you being in alignment. And what that takes is you learning how to work with your competing commitments. So if we say that we want to have success, but we're not experiencing it, if we say we want to feel good, but we're not feeling it, if we say that we want to, have a new relationship, but it's not coming our way, we're out of alignment. It means we have competing commitments. So this is when your unconscious and conscious are in competition with each other. And 95% of you is run by your unconscious drivers. So if you have that underlying system that's out of alignment with your conscious system, then you're going to be stuck. So everything I bring to the table is about helping you drop your competing commitments. And I want you to remember, again, you've heard me say this a million times, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So if you don't like what you're seeing in your outer world, it means that your inner world is out of alignment. So I want you to ask yourself in this way, for me, getting into alignment meant that I had to really face my shit. And I had to really start asking myself, what do I really want to create? So this is a huge lesson for me this year because I realized at the beginning of the year, I decided to look into manifestation and law of attraction. And I made the decision that I wanted to learn the art and science of manifestation so that I could step into a whole nother aspect of myself and create with more ease and joy and flow instead of hard work. I was a person who used to really live by the mantra, like, I'll get it done, hell or high water. And the truth is I would. You can push your way and you can force your way to a six-figure business. You can push and force your way to like quite a bit of success in life. But when you get there, you feel stressed out and burnt out, and it's not really that fun and easy, and you don't feel energetic and alive. So for me, I wanted to start to learn new ways to attract things to myself more easily. This meant I had to look at my money belief that you got to work really hard to make money. And what's happened for me as I've experienced and practiced this lesson number one, that success is a result of my alignment, I've worked less and made more. So in 2019, I worked a lot to break the six-figure mark. Like I worked a lot. You could ask my kids, the time I was partnered, you could ask him, I worked a lot. And it was like my number one drive because I had set this goal and I was like, I'm doing it hell or high water. And I didn't really know any other way. At the time, I wasn't into law of attraction and manifestation yet. I just didn't really know the energy dynamics behind it. And so when I decided this in 2020, I was like, wow, okay, I want to build a seven-figure business, but like, I'm not going to do it like that. I didn't want to feel like I was stressed out all the time and burnt out all the time. And just kind of like, I loved what I was doing and learning, and I love coaching, and it was enjoyable to work with people, but I was definitely working too much. And so for me, and so I realized like, okay, if I want to do this in a way that feels good, I'm going to need to learn some new lessons. And one of those was alignment. And I think for a lot of people, they go, well, law of attraction doesn't work for me. It's kind of bogus. It's like, oh, I'm going to sit on the couch and decide that I want something to come my way. It doesn't work. I say I want $1 million, but it's not coming my way. And that's not how it works. We're not talking about, you meditating on your couch and wishing and dreaming and hoping. You got to take action in the direction. Manifestation is not about you sitting there. Your exchange with the universe for bringing something to you is you being in action. It's just that you don't need to be in such effortful action. You don't need to work so hard, right? When you're in a flow state in manifestation and you're aligned, things feel like they're coming to you almost with a magic wand, or like they are it's wild. It's really fun when it happens, where you kind of pinch yourself when you set your intention in a direction, you get really clear what you want, and you start taking steps in that direction, and then something happens the same day. You're like, holy moly. You'll start pinching yourself. And that's really what I realized in 2020. I was like, holy moly, success is a result of my alignment. So in this, I want you to start working on practicing self-care, thinking about what brings you joy, noticing when you're out of alignment. My success formula is align, commit, decide, take NFA strategic action, repeat daily. If you do this, your life and business will be highly, highly profitable and lucrative. And it's that align part that most people struggle with, because they're like, what does it actually mean? And what it means is you got to start working on being a master of yourself. Do everything you can to be a master of yourself. And this will show up again in number 5. So we'll talk about that more. Lesson number 2, winning is a journey of patient, highlighted, consistent action. The word patient is highlighted. Okay, so winning is a journey of patient, consistent, daily action. I've seen this so much with myself and the people I've worked with in 2020, that idea of unrealistic expectations, the idea that it should happen faster than it is, the idea that it should happen overnight. Success is an overnight thing. You know, we live in the microwave mentality where we're like, oh, I want instant gratification, instant success. And if you think about anything that you're really good at in your life, I want you to really consider, how long did it take you to learn that? How much practice did you put into it? How long did it take for you to become a master? Or let's say even at the average level of doing something. You know, it's like when I started running, oh my goodness, I started running, I don't even remember what year it was. Oh, my son was just born when I really started deciding. I was like, oh, I want to start running. And I did my first marathon, triathlon that year. So it was in 2005. And I remember I went to this dirt trail around a lake where I live, and it was 1 mile, and I thought I was going to freaking die. Like, I mean, I ran the mile, my back hurt, my legs hurt, my joints hurt. And I was like, there is no way in hell I'm ever going to be able to run a 5K. And I've been an exerciser my whole life. So it wasn't like I was out of shape, but running is very specific shape. It's different muscles than I had been using on my elliptical and like lifting weights. So I was like, wow, this is like a muscle I'm going to need to work on in a different way. And I just ran every time I went out. I'd run a mile, then I'd run I'd add a couple minutes, and then I would take a break. And then, you know, I just took time to strategically get better and better at running. Then in, let's see, 2018, I believe it was 2018, it was either 2017 or through 2018, I ran a marathon, a backcountry marathon in Aspen at 8,000 to 11,000 feet of elevation with 6,200 feet of gain over the run. 26.2 miles from 1 mile where I thought I could never, I was thinking there's no way in hell I'll ever be able to do that. And what it took was consistent, patient, strategic daily action. So it's a really easy example. Your business is no different. Making money is no different. Taking on new habits, no different. It takes patient, consistent, strategic daily action. I want you to remember, slow and steady wins the race. And I'm saying this because I have been a person who's been incredibly impatient in my history. I would push, I would force, I would always want to get there faster than everyone else. And I wanted it to be better than everyone else. And I would negatively compare myself to people who were 40 years ahead of me in the game. And I would be like, well, I want to be as good as them overnight. It doesn't work that way. So I want you to remember, winning is a journey. It's a journey, right? It's a practice. And it takes patient, consistent, strategic daily action. Okay. You're not going to get there overnight. That's okay. Think about how boring it would be if you actually got there overnight. If you just woke up and all of a sudden you're a master at everything, like, what is the point? You got to learn and grow. And we learn through the process of getting there. The journey is the fun if you see it that way. If you're constantly waking up and going, I'm not there, it's not good enough, it's not fast enough, you are unnecessarily placing pressure on yourself due to unrealistic expectations, and none of your life is going to feel fun. None of the journey of building your business is going to feel fun, which then causes you to be out of alignment, like we talked about in number one, and then you're not as magnetic. So you're actually creating much more work for yourself by expecting things to happen too quickly. I want to remind you here also of the law of sowing and reaping, or cause and effect. There is a time to sow and there's a time to reap. When I notice people, and myself included in the history of myself, trying to do both at the same time, it would be like, oh, I expect to be working my ass off and reaping at the same time, right? What if you took it as like, oh, I'm sowing, I'm learning, I'm planting seeds, and then you get to reap the rewards. And then the cycle starts all over again. And there's a time to sow and a time to reap. It's not like, oh, I sow a couple seeds and then I reap, and it's all success. That is not how the universe works. So I want you to remember this. And I'm saying this because these are lessons I've learned over my time of being NFA in the area of hell or high water. Now I'm NFA in neurofreedom alignment. And I go, what brings me joy? What feels fun? What feels flowing? How do I set up my expectations in a way to win instead of to beat myself up and think I'm never there fast enough? So remember that it's a journey, and it's patient, consistent, daily action. And if you do that, your success is inevitable. 100%. You will get there. It's just slow and steady wins the race, right? And when I say slow, I'm not saying don't take action every day. I'm just saying don't think that you're going to be in a sprint and get there overnight. Know that this is a long-term, lifelong journey. I think of my business as a spiritual evolutionary process. Like, and the people I work with, I go, oh, business is just a mask for spiritual growth. Like, you're coming to work with me for spiritual growth because your business is your baby. Your business is your love. Your business is you stepping into your zone of genius. It's the work that you're meant to do in the world. And if you take it as a fun, playful journey, and you take daily action and you enjoy the process, all of it feels good. Every day, your work feels like play. Your work feels like vacation. That's what we want to be creating. That's powerful alignment. That's when you get to be a manifestation master. That's when you get to enjoy all of it, not just celebrating when you get to the success. You celebrate every little small success along the way. You celebrate yourself for taking patient, strategic action. Okay. Number 3, stop trying to control everything. This is huge too. I see this with all my clients, and I see it with myself in my history. So stop trying to control everything. I love this quote by Joseph Campbell. He says, "We must let go of the life we planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us." I'm going to say it again because I don't know if maybe you're on a run or you're washing your dishes. I want to say it again because I love this quote and I think it's so powerful, and I want you to commit it to your memory. We must let go of the life we planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. That's so good. For me, that's a really powerful one because I have definitely been a control freak in my history. Like, I make a plan and I want it to happen hell or high water, and I'm not happy if it doesn't happen. And this is something I've really leaned into letting go of in 2020. I've been reading a lot about surrender and allowing. If you haven't yet read The Surrender Experiment by Mickey Singer, phenomenal book, The Untethered Soul. He's the author of The Untethered Soul. And I read The Surrender Experiment this year, and it was just so powerful to start to play with letting go of control, right? When it's a paradoxical issue, because we think the more we are in control and that we have hyper control, the easier things will be, and the more that we can attract our way, or the more that we can kind of force things our way, really. But when you really dig into control and being in a person who needs hyper control, it's a fear-based poverty consciousness problem. So if you think that you need to control everything, it's because you're worried that if you let go of control, you don't know what will happen. You're not sure that the universe will provide for you. You're not sure how it will turn out, but it causes you to be in a state of almost desperation and neediness. And both of those are very repellent energies. So when we're talking about alignment is the most magnetic because you're in balance, you're in flow, you're thinking abundantly, you're feeling abundantly. you trust and you have faith, control is the opposite of all those things. It's you thinking, I need to control the details. I need to control the house. I need to control how fast I get there. I need to control everything. And then it'll happen. But what happens is it actually makes it take longer for it to come your way. So the more and more that I've leaned into letting go of control, for example, in 2020, right at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I became, you all know that I was in a relationship, and he ended the relationship by having an affair. And I, needed to go through all the emotional and the fallout of that and experience it and lean into it. I could have never, ever in a million years controlled where I am now. I could have never planned where I am now. And if I hadn't let go of control, and if I had tried to force our relationship to work, or I had tried to force things to be the way I wanted them, or I thought I wanted them to be, I would never be where I am now. And right now I'm in the best place I've ever been in my entire life. Like, I'm more balanced. I have money flowing. I have an incredible relationship. I have great relationships with my friends and family. I love what I do for a living. I'm learning the power of manifestation. My house is fabulous. Like, my life is amazing. And if I had forced and tried to control what I thought I wanted the outcome to be, I wouldn't have been able to do what Joseph Campbell said, which was letting go of the life I planned so as to accept the one that's waiting for me, right? Right now, I'm learning that process of surrender, allow, and trusting that the universe is going to bring me something even better than I ever imagined. I could have never imagined where I was going to be. Like, even if I look at, I don't know, what year is this? It's 2020. 2017 was when I LLC'd my business, and I just started planting the seeds of going, like, I had gone to a workshop with John DeMartini, and I was like, oh my God, I want to coach people. This is incredible. So I LLC'd, but I was still in grad school and I was working on my dissertation. So I started daydreaming and planting the seeds to build a business. And it took me a while to get going because I was still in grad school. But if I had controlled and forced, I would have become a professor, because that was my plan. I had planned for years and years and years. It took me 7 years to get my PhD. If I had stayed on that trajectory and just said, I'm going to be a professor no matter what, and I didn't allow and surrender to the new information that was coming my way, I'd be a professor. I wouldn't be here right now recording this podcast. I wouldn't be where I am in my business. I wouldn't be in my zone of genius doing the things that I love. So it took me surrendering and allowing in order to step into new layers of myself. So wherever you are, it's like, and the reason I brought up relationships, same thing. Like, the relationship I have now is the most securely attached, incredible relationship I've ever had in my life. I would never be here if I had forced and stayed in the previous relationship because it was my plan, which I could have tried, right? Instead, I surrender, I allow, I let go, and I see what's coming next, and I trust that the universe is bringing me what I need to have brought to me, in the mindset of, I want to live in my zone of genius. I'm committed to being in alignment. I do this daily work, and then my life gets to unfold in this beautiful way. I want this for you too. So stop trying to control everything. This shows up with my clients a lot in similar ways, where they're trying to control the outcome of what they're doing, the speed at which things happen. I could go on and on and on. I'm sure that some of this is resonating for you, because most people I know struggle with this one. So stop trying to control everything. Start to practice. I like to use the statement, I am willing to let go of blank. I am willing to step into my fullest power. I am willing to feel better and better every day. I am willing to surrender to the faith that the universe has my back. I am willing and trusting that the universe knows all the answers for me. I am willing to let go of plans that might not be what I think they need to be. Like, just start playing with this, and definitely read the Surrender Experiment. I think you'll get a lot out of it. It's awesome. Okay, number 4. Narrow your focus to expand your freedom. Narrow your focus to expand your freedom. I say this to my clients a lot, and it's one that we do a lot of exercises around, because I think that this day and age, with all the information that we have coming our way, it's really easy to get stuck in shiny object syndrome. It's really easy to get stuck in scattered thinking. It's really easy to have 15 points of focus where you're trying to put way too much on your plate. And what happens is that you end up in, remember, I can't remember the number of episode, but I talked about the treadmill of BS and the superhuman cycle, the superhuman burnout cycle. So those are two episodes that you might want to go back to if you struggle with this one, where you put too much on your plate. You feel like you always need to be productive. You feel like there's never enough time to get it all done. It's because you are focusing on too many things. And again, this is an outcome or a result of you having the limited perspective that you're not enough, that you don't have enough time, that you don't have enough knowledge, that you don't have enough wisdom, that you're not good enough. That's really where this comes from. And if you're somebody who gets stuck in having too many things on your plate, and you're someone who constantly finds yourself saying, "Oh, there's never enough time," it's because you're committing to unnecessary things. Or you are afraid that because you're not enough, you got to prove yourself. This brings up imposter syndrome and self-doubt and low self-worth and all those things. So if you're someone who feels burnt out and like you need to always be in productive mode, I want you to examine this one closely and start asking yourself, where can you narrow your focus to expand your freedom? Narrowing your focus could look like you saying no to things that you typically say yes to out of obligation or fear of losing connection with people, like abandoning yourself for connection because you're afraid if you say no to someone, they may not like you anymore, but you're not really doing it because you want to and because it's something you enjoy. I want you to be asking yourself everywhere, where am I going to let go of things that don't bring me joy? Where am I willing to let go of things that are out of alignment with my zone of genius? Where am I going to let go of things that are just busy shoulds and to-dos that someone told me I should be doing, but they're not really what I want to be doing? Those all diminish your power. And in order for you to narrow your focus to expand your freedom, you got to start becoming a delegation master and an automation master. So I want you to be thinking, where are the things I can either drop, delegate, or automate if they're not bringing you joy? I want 2021 to be your year of alignment in your zone of genius, where you're doing more and more and more and more every day of what you love to do. And the only way to do that is if you're a master of your time and you narrow your focus. So if you're continuously thinking that you should always be doing more, remember, it means that you have an addiction to believing that you're not enough or that it's never enough. And I want you to start shifting your energy and your alignment toward what brings me joy, what can I drop, delegate, or automate that isn't bringing me joy. So, an example of these things would be, and I've done this all year long. I'm completely reconfiguring my business in 2021 around this principle of narrowing my focus to expand my freedom. And part of this is because I realized that in order to do a 7-figure scale in an easy and flowing way, where I'm not feeling like I need to work all the time or be burnt out, I got to drop every single thing that's not essential. I've got to delegate every single thing that someone else could do better than me for less money, right? Or that's more in their zone of genius. So I always want to align my life and business in this way, because then I get to live more and more in my zone of genius. When you live in your zone of genius, it goes back to number one, success is a result of your alignment. When you're in your full-time zone of genius, you're 100% aligned because you're doing everything you love to do. You're getting up in the morning and you're taking action in the direction of your dreams. It's getting fulfilled. You're more magnetic. You attract your way more success, more opportunity, more fun, more play, more money, right? So we want to be living there, and it takes you narrowing your focus to do that. This could also look like you making sure that you block out time in your calendar to narrow your focus. This sounds strange, but what I mean by this is that you've got to schedule time to brainstorm. You've got to schedule time to reflect on what is working and what is not. This is why I talk about the habit of journaling and the habit of meditation, because meditation trains your brain in a direction to be more balanced and poised, and for you to be more mindful and conscious of what's aligned, right? When you're meditating, for me, after a session of meditating, I'll notice that I feel way more in tune and connected with myself. And what that does is it allows me to notice when I feel off. So when I'm feeling off, then I know that something's out of alignment. Then I can make adjustments. If I don't take the time because I've put so much on my plate to reflect, then I'm never going to get the benefit of that. So I want you to, in 2021, consider adding the habit of daily journaling and daily meditation. This could literally take you less than 10 minutes a day and radically, dramatically change your life. And what it'll help you do is narrow your focus to expand your freedom. So every day in your journal, if you just spent a couple minutes writing down what's working, what's not. So you write down what's working, that's what you want to add more of. If it's working and it's bringing you joy, add more. If it's not working and it doesn't bring you joy, drop or automate or delegate. Okay. And remember, delegation always makes you money. If you're delegating to the right people, it means that you get more time to live in your zone of genius, which is more magnetic, which brings you more money, right? So delegation, don't be afraid of delegation. Actually look to the areas where you can delegate. Automation can look as simple as things like automating your morning routine, automating through a block schedule, automating your systems where, oh my God, I just found the coolest app. I'm not going to be able to remember the name of it at the moment. Oh, shucks. It's one where you type a letter and it auto types into like responses in your, let's say I'm on social media and I'm typing the same thing over and over again to people. I could type like 2 letters and I've auto text, I've put the text into the app and then it auto types that whole message. So like that's a version of automation. Sorry, I don't remember. If someone's really wants to know, email me or DM me on one of my social media channels and I'll find the name of the app for you. So cool. Then there's, automating your emails. I have templates that I use. I use a CRM that like autofills templates. I systematize everything. Like with my Danielle, shout out to you. Her and I like have automated systems where we have everything in folders and everything aligned, and we have automated times that we do things, and it just makes it easy, flowing, simple, right? So every single place you can automate will help you narrow your focus to expand your freedom. Let's think if there's anything else that I want to add there. You can ask yourself, what can you drop that's just busy work? And this is a big one. This is something I've really reflected on in the upcoming changes to my company in 2021 is like, okay, what do I want to drop? What do I want to keep doing? What's bringing me joy? What's bringing me high ROI? What's bringing me high ROI in my places of joy? What can I drop? It's like, I'm going to do less social media posts. We're not doing interviews anymore because I want to start getting on other people's platforms because I've been having a lot of fun getting on other people's podcasts to get interviewed instead of me doing the interviews. So we're pivoting in that direction. And that's about alignment and joy for me while still bringing you value because I love to teach. So I'm like, oh, I want to do solo casts. And then I want to go on other people's platforms to get interviewed so that I can speak from that stance. Writing books, like all those things, that's all a reflection of me taking the time to narrow my focus so that I can expand my freedom. So I think that you got that one, I hope. Okay, number 5, the final and 5th one is get mentorship. Okay, obviously, I'm saying this because I'm a coach, consultant, trainer, and I wouldn't be where I am without having gotten mentorship myself. And I know you could be saying, well, you're biased. Your company's been NFA coaching and it's something that I really promote. Yeah, it's true because I wouldn't be where I am without it. And I can't think of, if you stop and you think about successful people and how success leaves clues, the vast majority of them, I dare to say 100% of them all have mentors. I can't think of anyone who's highly successful who doesn't have a mentor. We can see this in sports with Olympians. They have coaches. We can see this in business. They have coaches. We can see this even in acting. When you're watching an incredible movie or any movie, and you're looking at the reel at the end, they will have like acting coaches, right? Everybody has someone who's ahead of the game, who can see the blind spots, who can help them in areas where they don't know what they don't know, right? So it's like when I'm working with people on their competing commitments, they can have an aha moment that changes their entire trajectory of their life in 10 seconds flat because all of a sudden they see something from a different perspective. That's what good mentorship does, right? And let's say, depending on where your finances are, you could get mentorship from many different places. It could be great books. It could be library books that are free. It could be YouTube. It could be podcasts. Those are all free versions of mentorship, right? Then you want to upscale and if you can, get into a group program, get into one-on-one consulting, go to workshops. I mean, there are so many options. I don't want you to use the excuse that you don't have the money for mentorship. If you're saying that to yourself, you're a person who needs it even more. So I want you to really, really look at 2021 as, if I want to have the best year I've ever had in my life, where are the areas where I'm going to hire a mentor or take on mastering myself through a version of mentorship that I just mentioned, so that I can become the most expansive, supercharged, alive, on fire, thriving, inspired person I can be. That's the opportunity that's available to all of us every single year, every single day, every single moment. And it's up to you. No one's going to come and pull you out of bed in the morning and say, hey, it's time for you to do your personal growth and development. It's time for you. I'm going to pay for you to have this great mentor, because the truth is, if someone pays for you to have one, you're probably not that invested anyway. So you want to take the initiative to get into full alignment so you get to live in your zone of genius. I'm telling you these things because I've lived on both sides. I've lived in a state of complete fearful survival hell where I wouldn't take a minute of it back because I've learned so much, but I've also gotten to go on the journey of getting myself out of that place into a mode where I feel like I have a life that's pinchable worthy, pinch worthy, I think would be the right phrase. It's like I often just go like, oh my God, my life just keeps getting better and better and better and better, like every day. And the people I draw into my life, the network I've built, getting to do this podcast, creating new programs, new opportunities that are coming my way, my new relationship, my watching my kids grow up. Oh, I mean, I could just go on and on. Investments that I'm making that, it's like I had a 700% return in my investment portfolio, or more than 700%. Like, my life is just freaking awesome. And I can say that not because I'm like lucky unicorn who these things all just happen to me. I don't even believe in luck. I did the work to get aligned within myself, and it's been my number one quest to become a master of myself so that I could have my outer world match my inner world. Before, my outer world did match my inner world. My inner world was terrified, fear-based, blaming everyone else, super victim-minded. That in my outer world was, I was on food stamps. My relationships were falling apart. Every relationship I got into didn't work out well because I was a mess internally, right? Like, I was facing homelessness at points in time. I didn't know where I was going to live. I felt like shit. I've been suicidally depressed. I mean, I could go on and on and on. That was a result of a reflection of my inner world being not in a good place. As I've learned, as I've grown, and I've taken the journey, remember I said, winning is a journey of patient, consistent daily action. I've taken daily action. This did not happen overnight. It wasn't like all of a sudden I woke up one day and I was like, oh, I want to be better. And then I just was better. I've taken daily consistent action. I've read hundreds of books. I've listened to thousands of hours of podcasts and audiobooks. I've paid probably at this point $50,000, $100,000 on personal growth and development programs, workshops. I mean, if you add my schooling, my PhD, hundreds of thousands of dollars I've paid to learning how to improve myself. And then what I bring in exchange for all those things is I want to bring that to you, because I don't want you to have to struggle and suffer unnecessarily. But the truth is, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. I don't have a magic wand to change you. Only you can change yourself. And it's by you deciding, committing, taking action, and knowing that you can massively transform your life, your business, your money, your relationships, your health, genuine wealth in a year of time. Like, if you decided today, when this releases, it's going to be December 31st, 2020. If you really make the decision to follow these 5 steps and listen to what I'm saying, come work with me in the Manifesting Profits program. Email me if you're interested, and I'll let you know. We're launching on January 18th. It's going to be an ongoing program, but if you want to be there at the initial launch, it's January 18th. Email me at dramanda@nfamoney.com. and I'll be sure to have a one-on-one consult with you so we can, or, like a conversation where I can share with you what the program's about. No pressure, no obligation. I just want you to know if you want to be there. But like, that's your decision to make, right? I'm offering it to you. I'm giving you tips and strategies to help you lead an incredibly thriving life that is pinch worthy. But you got to be the one to decide to do all those things. And maybe you're already on your way and you're just here listening and this is validation for you. Fuck yeah, high fives. I'm happy for you, and let's be on this road together to just change the world and up level in mindful consciousness, and create more love and abundance in the universe. Awesome. So glad you're part of the NFA tribe. Okay. Let's see. I think that's all I've got for you today. I will be back. We'll be back the week of January 25th, 2021. So we will start re-releasing 2 episodes a week again at that point. So we're taking a few weeks off to make all these transitions. I'll miss you. I can't wait to hear from you. When we launch, I'm hoping everyone will I'm going to do a good promotion to make sure everyone does reviews and shares so we can just really up level the game in 2021 for both Max Potential Money podcast and also NFA Money Consulting and the Manifesting Profits program. So be ready for that. I hope that you all have an incredible New Year's Eve and set yourself up for success in the new year by implementing what I've talked about. I'm going to summarize real quick the top 5 lessons. Number 1, success is a result of your alignment. Number 2, winning is a journey of patient, consistent daily action. Number 3, stop trying to control everything. Number 4, narrow your focus to expand your freedom. And number 5, get mentorship. Invest in mentorship, I shall say. All right, NFA high fives. I hope you have an incredible few weeks until I see you again, where you thrive and you feel wildly alive. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Max Potential Habits podcast. If you're liking what you've heard, it would be so incredibly awesome if you would subscribe to the channel and leave a 5-star rating and a written review. This helps me help more people while we grow our NFA community so we can rock it out together. For Max Potential Habits resources, go to nfacoaching.com, where you can access all of my resources. There's free ebooks, PDF checklists, a journal template, a business mindset meditation kit, and so much more. Plus, links to NFA coaching on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And if you're super serious about up-leveling, there's also a link to schedule a free consult to work with me in group or one-on-one coaching. Until next time, I hope you have a Max Potential Habits Day where you get inspired to do whatever it takes to transform into the most empowered version of yourself so you can lead a rich, thriving, kick-ass life and business.